going into the pit area now, so stand by Gary Wilkinson. Here comes Alan Moffat. I would think a very unusual pit stop.
Well, bad lap for the Mazdas, the two teammates striking trouble both on lap 47.
Well, Alan Moffat has just come into the race.
Holding up when you got a chance.
You can see that he is definitely smoking, and there is obviously something slightly amiss with the car. You can see churns of fuel, 2 churns of fuel going in. Just what exactly is wrong, if anything, with Moffat's car remains to be seen. The crew working frantically here. 2 churns of fuel in, and that's all he's done.
Well, he's run into a problem there with one of the other cars that had slowed down, but whether or not everything seems to be coming up roses for Alan today. We've seen a couple of dramatic changes up around the front of the field, but Alan Moffat continues to stretch that lead. Gary Wilkinson will cross to you for an update in the pit area.
Mike, thank you very much. Yes, they're talking about Alan Moffat. I've just had a word with Alan Horsley in his pit area here, and they have not been informed of this alleged 1-minute penalty. Alan Horsley says that as he understands any regulations in this country, you cannot be penalised for speeding in the pit lane. They can fine you, they can disqualify you, but they can't penalise you a minute for speeding in the pit lane. And he said if they do, they'll be the biggest protest that you've ever heard in motor racing. Back to you.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to make the comment before, I'm quite sure if Alan Moffat doesn't win by over a minute, this race will be settled in the Supreme Court, because I'm sure he wouldn't lay down for that. It's a subjective thing. Who's to say what's fast and what's slow? And I can see, as I say, all sorts of long, drawn-out arguments about that, which we don't need.
Maybe they've got a radar device down there.
Possibly so, Peter.
All right, we're on lap 79 of the Castrol 400, which you're watching live from Sandown in Melbourne. And John Harvey getting very close to Charlie O'Brien for 4th place. And while that dice is going on, I could inform you that the attendance at Sandown today is an all-time record of 60,850. 60,850, an all-time record for a Sandown 400, and I'm sure race officials and Castrol officials would be delighted with the turnout here this afternoon.
Well, those 60,000 people who've come here have seen themselves a great motor race with many incidents happening, and most of them in the pits with the problems that some of the leaders have had. If you missed the early stages of the race, we had Peter Brock leading very easily in the early stages. Moffat didn't pull in, he went by. He's going on for another lap. He did this before, so goodness knows what's going on. But Peter Brock led until he slowed with a leak from the gearbox extension. The bolt had come out. He went back out again, but had lost so much oil from the gearbox that he had to retire from the race. So the man who has won here 8 times, including the last 7 years in succession, is out of the race. Alan Grice then led for a long time until passed by this man, Alan Moffat, in car 43, the Peter Stuyvesant Racing Team Mazda RX7. But he may be facing a 1-minute penalty for having travelled at excessive speed in the pit area when he came in for a stop.
That was in lap 47 too, so maybe at some later stage we can check on that. I think we had a shot of Moffat's car in the pits, and it will be interesting to just have a look and see what speed he did go down through the pit area.
Alan Moffat is being black flagged and required to come into the pits, but in the meantime, let's watch. Here comes Gary Scott. Yes, he just lost it, had a spin. Now look at how close it was. First of all, the Jaguar of John Goss, then the leader. Moffat comes in. Moffat into the pits. He's been called in. The officials have black flagged him. Let's see what for. I suspect it's to give him a lecture for driving so quickly down the pits. And you can imagine the frame of mind of the race leader being called in to be spoken to by an official. Let's watch, see who comes and gives him a message. Someone will say something. Well, all they told him is, for heaven's sake, take it easy. I can't see any official pass on the message, but his team manager would have been required to have told him something. He certainly was black flagged. He has lost some time through having to come in. His signal is still going, so he's just forgotten about it.
I would think Moffat maybe, or maybe his crew had been instructed to inform Moffat of a minute penalty or some other penalty. And I think the cursory stop at the pits and a shout through the window, they do it for the rule book. But I don't know what possibly could have been conveyed to Alan Moffat then.
It's quite possible, Mike, and I'm not saying I can't guess why they've done it, but certainly if they were trying to slow him down in the pits and he wouldn't slow down, to black flag him as an instant way of giving him a time penalty, he has to call in the pits, and it might have just been a bit of summary justice.
Well, Moffat will be fairly wound up. Only, 5.5 laps to go. Got a lot of traffic to work his way through. A most important race for him.
And may I tell you again, the stewards are going out with the black flag onto the edge of the circuit on the front straightaway. With a black flag ready, the crowd has erupted. I think the crowd are well aware. And another black flag, I think, could be going to Alan Moffat in this drama, incident-packed Castrol 400 from Sandown Park. The closing stages, 6 laps remaining and a black flag, and the signal, we'll see who it's for.
I'd be for Moffat, I'm sure. It is tantamount to disqualification. They're saying, come in the pits.
No.
And there he is out there. Now, whether he saw it, I don't know.
Well, certainly have a good excuse for not seeing it.
Yes, he was well shrouded then. It could be we'll see him forced to come in almost as the race is finished, because we are now on, what, lap 105, is it?
104.
Yes, well, he's only on his 105th lap, so only got 5 laps to go, or 6 laps. And he will be fuming there. The black flag pointed at him. They required to come in again.
Moffat at that particular time past the start-finishing line was very, very busy on the inside and probably didn't see the black flag. Well, that would be a good reason and probably win that point.
Well, now,
they're going to give it to him again anyway,
yeah,
so I
make
guess
sure he gets it.
This drama charge, Castrol 400 from Sandown Park. Laps ticking by as we go into the final stages of the event, with about 2 laps remaining. Alan Moffat, the leader on the race board, 48 seconds or a little less than that in front of Alan Grice. If that minute penalty does come into account and goes against Moffat, Alan Grice will be the winner. Then back in 3rd place, 1 lap and 108 seconds is number 17, of course, Dick Johnson.
Leading Class C, still car number 61. That's the Graham Bailey, Steve Land Toyota Celica, and they have covered 90 laps so far.
Well, it looks to me as though Moffat had slowed down a bit.
Yeah, he seemed to be travelling very slowly, yeah.
He was slow out of Arco, no doubt. Now over Rothman's Rise, he turned on a bit of spurt for his sponsor. But coming into the S-bends, yes, the last lap.
The last lap board was then given to Alan Grice when he went past.
So it would appear that they feel they've given him 3 or 4 minute penalties for his trouble, and they'll give the checkered flag to Alan Grice. Interesting piece of drama, shall we say.
Yes, I don't think the people will ever forget the 82 Castrol 400 from Sandown Park. Last lap board about to be given to Alan Moffat. Yes, it has. Black flag again at the ready.
There's the checkered flag is out now. Let's just see who they give it to, but they certainly gave the last lap board first to Alan Grice, who on the road is in 2nd position, 48 seconds behind Alan Moffat. Well, a race of extraordinary incident and a great deal of controversy. There's the Phillips scoreboard again for the last time here as the race starts.
We might keep an eye out for Grice as he comes down through the top part of the circuit through the S's, because I think Alan Grice will be given the checkered flag first. There's Alan Moffat working his way up towards Rothman's Rise. I'd say at the end of this race he'll have a little to say.
Dick Johnson has just gone across the start.
Little to say that's polite.
Here's the checkered flag. It's going to go to Alan Grice. Hand up, and Grice takes the Castrol provisionally. The crowd has erupted here in the grandstand. Alan Moffat has yet to finish the race, although he was in the lead by 48 seconds. But perhaps 2 pit stop infringements for going too quickly through the pit area have played their part in the penalty against Moffat. But only time will tell that one. Here comes Alan Moffat, actually leading the race. Crowd erupting now as the checkered flag goes out.
Well, a happening without precedent in Australian motor racing, where a man leading the race and leading it comfortably apparently has been penalised out of victory through alleged infringements in pit lane.
Well,
Lord, the black flag. Alan Moffat is going around. He assumes he's won the race. He's going
to have his victory lap.
Start-finish line, yes. He's not going to pull into the pits as the other drivers are required to do. Neither was John Goss. He's going around for a lap as well. But Alan Moffat deciding he's going to go around and just see what this is all about. We have Peter Landy, who's the tallest of a lot of us, going down to the area just to talk to Alan Moffat when he comes in, and to Alan Grice, and to try and find out just what has happened. Well, what an extraordinary finish. Alan Grice apparently is the winner of the race. Alan Moffat, who was leading, apparently is not the winner. Whether he even comes second, we don't know. But the order as we have it is car number 4, which is Alan Grice in the Recar Commodore, first in the Castrol 400. Then car 17, Dick Johnson, 54 seconds behind in the Falcon XE for True Blue. Car number 25, Gary Scott in the Marlborough Holden dealer team car, 1 lap down. Car number 11. It was Clyde Benson Brown who shared that car with Charlie O'Brien. Another lap. Car number 16, the Commodore of Ron Wanless and Gary Rogers, and in 6th place, car 37, which is Terry Shields' Mazda RX7. Now, that ignores any position as far as Alan Moffat. We're not sure what happened to him, and neither is he. But you can be sure that when Alan Moffat comes back to the checkered flag, thinking that he is the winner, he'll want to find out. And listen to the crowd. A mixture of boos and whistles and cheers. He's controversial, he has his supporters, he has his enemies, and they're all here gathered in front of him. And Alan Moffat, who thinks he's won the race, is pulling up now. And let's just watch what happens. Our man's on the spot.
Philip Christensen moving up to have a chat to Alan Moffat, who sits there in a rather pensive manner, as we await now for Alan Grice to arrive at the finishing line in the Recar Commodore.
I think you'll find that Alan will at least act as if he's won it.
Yes.
I'm quite sure he'll accept all the trophies and everything.
10 points for Grayson Deportment here.
Exactly, yes.
And an equal amount of cheering and booing, depending on whether you support the Mazda or the Holden Commodore, for Alan Grice as he pulls up now. Alan Moffat signalling to the cameraman.
Go away.
I'm afraid, Alan, it happens to be news. If presidents can't force the press away, racing car drivers have about the same.
Yes, it's something we don't understand, Mike. I've been as guilty of it myself at Bathurst last year, trying to hide some news, and I'm afraid, as you said, when it's news, it's news.
Well, here's Gricey. I'm quite sure Alan Grice will act as though he's won as well.
Sure, they're both going to act as if they have, so this will be very good. Well, perhaps I'll have 2 trophies, Mike. They can have one each.
Yes, well, a drop of Perrier and a little of the ringside with the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Dick Johnson pulls up. Maybe he thought he won it.
Well, he hasn't. He's not waving his hand, so...
I dare say Alan would like to have a word with his pit manager, perhaps, after it's all over. Misunderstood the last message.
Yes, well, as we've heard said many times, the television camera is a microscope, isn't it? And you sort of see the harassed look on Moffat's face. He's obviously worked very hard, and it seems a pity.
It does, because he's driven extremely hard. However, there's more drama yet to unfold. We'll take a break. This is Motor Racing Live on the 7 Network around Australia, and we'll be back in a few moments.
At the end of the most amazing, the most controversial 400 here at Sandown, Alan Moffat, do you know what happened?
I can't begin to imagine.
You were given the black flag, what, about 5 or 6?
Given the black flag, I came in, I reported to my pits as the rules indicate. There was nobody there to tell me anything to do. It's not a Sunday afternoon picnic. I went back out on the track again.
Have you had any message from the officials yet?
I have no idea what is going on. When you get black flagged, your pit is to be notified. You stop at your pits, you're told what's wrong, your car's on fire, your wheels are falling off, or what. Nobody there. I proceeded out again. I have no idea what they're doing.
Let's see if we can find
the race.
Alan's just going around the back. I'm looking for an official to try and find out what happened. I spoke to Ian McKnight, who's the secretary of the Light Car Club of Australia, the people who run the race. He didn't want to talk. He doesn't know the story, I assume, because Ian's a very communicative fellow. There's a group over there. I'll try and work my way through and see just what's going on. So let's just work our way through the crowd. You can hear the way that the crowd themselves are roaring, that this result has been received with the utmost of mixed feelings. Alan Grice getting a great cheer as he walks over there at the moment. But it's not the most popular victory. They like the man who wins the race to be the man who is in front at the finish. And that wasn't the case with Alan Grice. Great drive, though, he may have driven. Let's just get over here and see if we can find out what's going on. Dick Johnson's up ahead. I'm going to have a chat to him.
Let you know exactly what we think is going on.
Dick Johnson.
There's been some controversy.
Third place, Dick.
As to a penalty.
Well, I'm buggered if I know. There's that many stories I've heard so far. But we finished, that's all I'm concerned about.
Crowding for the car then, although I can't recall a result like this ever. No one knows what's happened. Alan is completely confused. And listen to the crowd.
An enormous crowd. I think it's probably one of the best meetings spectator-wise we've ever seen. So I just hope they find out the real outcome.
Of Castrol, Australia.
Let me just see one of the officials, see someone behind. You may not know any more about what happened, but do you know why the black flag was held out for Alan?
I believe it was because of going down the pit lane too fast. I'm not sure, you'd have to check with the meeting director about that, Evan.
Right. We had assumed that, and Alan said when he went into the pit there was no one there to tell him what it was, so he went out again. And he doesn't know whether he's been disqualified or penalised a minute or what the result is.
Not sure, mate. Ian McKnight will be able to answer
Okay,
that.
we'll try and track him down. It's a very confusing scene here at the moment. The presentation taking place with Alan Grice. We'll cut to them, and you take it back again up there, Mike Raymond.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Castrol for their sponsorship of this event. I hope it's a long-standing one. I'm particularly pleased to have won today. We've had some pretty accurate information in the pits, and it appears that that'll be the way it'll work out. But I'm particularly happy to have won the race in BMW country. I enjoy beating them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you bear with me for one more minute? Because there is a controversy and because it won't be decided until sometime into the future, I'm going to bring Alan Moffat up to the microphone so that you can hear his side of the story too. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Alan Moffat.
Congratulations, Alan. Great.
It's a long time and a lot of hard work to get onto this lawn at Sandown. Brocky's been here for 7 years in a row. There seems to be something going on that if you don't drive a Commodore, you can't win a race around here. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring somebody else up to the microphone who doesn't drive a Commodore either, and that's Dick Johnson, and we had him down as second. Ladies and gentlemen, from Queensland, Dick Johnson.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to all my sponsors.
Well, as you can see, the Castrol 400 has been surrounded in controversy with Alan Grice being awarded the race. Second place provisionally being given to Dick Johnson, who makes his acceptance speech at the moment. The Stokes Trophy, of course, for the quickest and the most professional pit stop of the day went to the Recar racing team, and the driver, of course, was Ron Wanless. Well, that's it. The Castrol 400 from Sandown Park, one of the most dramatic charge touring car races I think that Australia has ever seen. To the viewers around Australia, don't forget, we'll have more motor racing action coming your way on October the 3rd when you join us for the James Hardy 1000 from Mount Panorama at Bathurst, the great race.
One particular